I'll work for shelter. Nothing more. Sarah's voice didn't shake, even as the winter wind cut through her thin dress. The scarred rancher stared at her from his porch, his jaw tight, his eyes measuring her desperation. "You're running from something," he said. "Aren't we all?" 3 months earlier, Sarah had everything. A teaching position in Philadelphia. A fiancé who promised her the world. A future that looked bright and certain. Then the bank collapsed. Her father's gambling debts became hers. And the men who came collecting didn't take no for an answer. They wanted payment. One way or another. So she ran. 200 miles on foot, through towns that turned her away, past farms that had no work, until her shoes fell apart and her hope nearly did too. Cole Brennan's ranch was the last house before the mountains. Everyone in town whispered about him. The fire that took half his face. The wife who couldn't stand to look at him anymore. The heart that turned to stone the day she left. They said he hadn't spoken to a soul in 2 years. 1 week, he finally said, his voice rough from disuse. "Then you move on." But 1 week became 2. Then 3. Sarah cooked meals he actually ate. She mended fences and cleaned years of dust from forgotten corners. She never stared at his scars. Never flinched when he came too close. And she never, ever asked questions he wasn't ready to answer. At night, she heard him pacing the hallway. During the day, she caught him watching her with something that looked almost like wonder. Like he'd forgotten what it felt like to have another person share his space. "Why'd you really let me stay?" she asked one evening as they sat on the porch, watching the sun set over the ridge. Cole was silent for so long she thought he wouldn't answer. "Because you looked at me like I was still a man. Not a monster." "You're not a monster. My wife thought different. Your wife was a fool." Something shifted in his expression then. Something that looked dangerously close to hope. But the past has a way of catching up. When her demons arrived, 2 men on horseback demanding what they claimed she owed, Cole didn't hesitate. He stepped between them and her, his rifle steady in his hands. "She's under my protection now. You want her, you go through me." The scars on his face meant nothing compared to the steel in his voice. The men saw something in his eyes that made them think twice. Made them turn their horses around and ride back the way they came. That night, Sarah found him in the barn, hands shaking as the adrenaline finally wore off. "I can't pay you back," she whispered. "For what you did today. For any of this. I'm not keeping score." He turned to face her fully, scars and all, letting her see every broken part of him. "Stay because you want to. Not because you owe me. Not because you're afraid. But because this feels like home." She stepped closer, close enough to see the uncertainty in his eyes. Close enough to reach for his damaged hand and hold it like it was something precious. "What if I want to stay forever?" For the first time since the fire, since his wife walked out, since the world convinced him he was unlovable, Cole Brennan smiled. A real smile that reached his eyes and softened every hard edge. "Then welcome home, Sarah." She came seeking shelter from a storm. She found something worth fighting for. Because love doesn't ask for perfection. It doesn't demand beauty or wealth or a past without scars. It only asks for courage. The courage to be seen. The courage to stay. The courage to believe that broken things can still hold something beautiful.